If you know the basics of Photoshop, the first thing you can try out is designing a flyer. It's not hard, it's easy if you have all the proper details. When you talk with your client, remember to gather all the details. The details will include the final text, the images, the logo in various formats like black and white, the colored ones in high resolution. Plus, you will need to know the final size of the design because this will impact a lot on how you will do the layout. If I explain, sometimes the design size will be smaller than the amount of text that you have. So you will have to discuss with your client whether he or she is going to reduce the amount of text or they are going to increase the size of the design. Next, when we start designing, the first thing we do is create an artboard. It's important to remember when we are doing a print design, we are doing it to get it printed, and for this we have to remember to use the CMYK color mode. Why do we need CMYK? Because CMYK is the color mode that's used when we do printing. Because the colors are made by combining cyan, magenta, yellow, black. It's a strict thing that you remember this, because once you create a design in RGB format and send it to your client and your client approves and the printer rejects it and asks for a CMYK, when you change the colors into CMYK from RGB, the colors are going to look a little bit different. So what is RGB? RGB is red, green, blue, the colors that we use for digital screens like your mobile phone, the computer, the TV screen, those kind of things. It's a must that you remember, and if you're not sure whether the client is going to print this or to upload it digitally, remember to ask and clarify. Another important thing that you need to do when you're creating the artboard is think of the resolution. Because there are various resolutions that you need to use when you design. Especially for print, it's 300 dpi. For a digital screen, it's around 72 or above. Remember that, because if you do a design in 72 and send it to the printer might not print it and reject the design, saying it's low quality. So double check and correct it before you start designing, because later on when you start to change, it's going to be really difficult. After getting that in a correct way, you have to get your artboard. Create the artboard to the actual size that your client has mentioned. Remember, you need to have a bleeding area. I suggest you just go online and check how printing shops work. Then you'll see that when they have a design, when they have printed it, they'll stack them up together and you'll see they'll send a sharp blade and cut the edges out. So that's why you need a bleeding area, plus a safe area inside your design from the edge of your artboard. So your letters will not get cut or important things will not get cut. So how do you create the bleeding area? The bleeding area is, the standard is to have 0.3 millimeters around the actual artboard. But this might depend on the printer that they are using or the online printing shops that they use. Clarify, it's an important thing because it will be hard to change this later. So double check before you start designing. After creating that, your artboard is ready. Next, what you do is, this is from my experience, the easiest way to do is have the text placed in your layout. Remember, the text also comes in the heading, subheading, a description. Sometimes there will be important details that you need to add, like offers or services they provide, how you are going to lay out them, and the contact details. You need to place it around your design first and play around with the fonts. Almost forgot. When it comes to fonts and colors, always remember to ask your client for their clarification. Some might have specific colors and fonts they use as their brand guide. Remember to ask it, and if it's a font that you don't have, always ask your buyer to give it to you, because sometimes there might be commercialized fonts that you might not be able to get. After placing the text and doing a brief layout, think of how you are going to place the logo, because the logo is a main element in your design and in their branding. So find out where you are going to place the logo. I of course play around with this. Sometimes I place the logo first and then go and add the text. Sometimes the other way around. After that, try to figure out where you are going to place the images, because images play a huge role in your design, plus the design elements that you are choosing. Depending on your design and the style that your client might like, because some might like a minimalistic look, some might like a bit more vibrant, pop-up style, more colorful. So think how they might like it and try to create a layout out of it. Plus, remember the safe area I told you earlier? Try to keep all your text and information within that safe area, so they won't be cut off when you send it to the printers. After placing the images and the special elements that you need to add, see if you need to do a little bit of touch-up, like play around with some effects, have some background images, or change of the fonts, maybe have them bold, some italics. And one thing I need to add is, I have seen that many use various kind of fonts when they design. I of course don't like it that much, and it doesn't look very nice when you use a lot of variations of fonts. So remember, when you do a design, try to stick to 2 fonts that might match together, but you can play around with the font family where they have bold, italics, demi-bold, those kind of things. And the end, you can save the file as a PDF and Add a JPEG as well. And then send it to your buyer or your client and see what they say. Depending on your feedback, do the necessary changes and try to finalize the design. Sometimes you might have to change the layout for their preference as well. And sometimes there are two sides in a design, like the front and the back. You have to think of those when you're doing a layout design for a flyer. And when you deliver the final files, remember to deliver everything that you did. It will be a good thing to add the source files at the end, because your client might not be able to contact you again to do some small changes, or he or she might like to get it done by someone they know who knows a little bit of Photoshop. So be kind and remember to give the source file as well. I hope this little tutorial is helpful for you, and I hope you have seen what I have been creating while I'm discussing this. A minimalistic but luxury looking flyer for a restaurant. Let me know what you think.